Hi, welcome to Revenue Marketing Television, the Chief Marketing Officer Insights channel. I am your host, Jeff Pedowitz, President and CEO of the Pedowitz Group. And today we have with us Lisa Agona, who is Chief Marketing Officer of Ensono. Lisa, welcome to the show.
Hi, Jeff. Thank you.
You're absolutely welcome. Fresh back from London?
I am one of my favorite cities in the world. I'm a New Yorker at heart, but London's my next favorite city.
Can you do a British accent? Or?
No.
No. Well, thanks again for being on and making the time. I know how busy you are. So, you've been at Ensono a couple years now. Tell us a little bit about the company and some of the transitions that you're going through.
Ensono is a carve out of the marketing data and analytics company called Axiom, which many people know. And it was carved out of that business and bought by two Boston-based private equity companies. And a whole new management team was brought in, including me, to revitalize and grow this business, which was formerly more of a stodgy old mainframe outsourcing business. And we've been transforming it into a hybrid IT services business, helping our clients kind of transform their infrastructure from mainframe to cloud.
Nice. So probably a lot of challenges associated with that, but what's been one of the bigger challenges that you're facing?
One of the biggest challenges is when we carved the business out of Axiom, we were left with no front end of the company, so no sales and marketing engine for the company. And one of the reasons I was brought in, it was to help build that front engine.
So I would say that's kind of a big challenge.
It's huge because even though the company's been around for 50 years, there's a history here. We're actually acting more like a startup because there are many aspects of the business that needed built from the ground up, including marketing.
Okay. So when you're faced with a situation like that, what's your approach been? How your strategy for kind of getting this done? Because it seems like a pretty big task.
Well, when I started, it was me and one other person who had been with the company for 13 years. And what we did was we actually put a strategy together going forward, how we were going to carve this business out officially, launch a brand new brand, and then build a sales and marketing front end. And one of the first things we did, knowing that we only had two people and we had to recruit from the ground, is that we established a network of trusted contractors and agencies to help us get a jump start.
Okay. So you're kind of in a situation, I guess you're building the plane while it's flying sort of analogy.
Yes.
So what, in terms of, you said you only started with one person, so you're building out this team. What do you look for? I mean, what kind of skills are you looking to hire, personalities? How are you setting up your organizational structure?
Well, I see marketing, B2B marketing, as a growth engine, a long-term growth engine for companies. And in particular, I've always kind of been in companies that were undergoing significant change. So I don't see marketing as a drive-through window. I don't see it as a support function. And therefore, marketers and the marketing function has to act in a business-like fashion. So one of the things is I do hire people with business backgrounds because I think it's really fundamentally important that anybody that joined the team put our clients first and understand who those clients are and how they make money so that we can actually put forward the solutions and the marketing programs that make the most sense to them.
Okay, makes a lot of sense. So from a business process perspective, what are some of the most important things you're doing from an infrastructure to build this new operation up?
Well, we have put process directives in place. So when we came in, there was no marketing team. There was one person. There were no processes. So in our mandate is really around building the Ensono brand, largely from scratch. It launched January 2016, representing the voice of the client. That's understanding our markets and our clients through data and analytics. And then third, creating demand. And I think that we've done a very good job with brand and even with market segmentation, understanding our clients and putting processes in place where we are focusing now on our top priority and where we're actually working with the Pedowitz group is on demand generation and building out the lead management and data management processes that are going to make us fully functional. And then from there, really kind of layering on those data and analytics that will make us a great marketing team.
So I'm curious because I've known you for a really long time, and you're a planner. You've got everything laid out really well. But has there been any big surprises for you over the last 2 years? Just something that kind of caught you off guard that you weren't ready for, and if so, how did you handle it?
I'm considered a big company person, so this was by most people's standard a departure for me because I come from Accenture and LexisNexis and HSBC, and building a marketing. So I've transformed marketing functions and optimized marketing functions. I've never built one from the ground up, and I don't know that it surprised me. But some of the things that I hadn't been actively doing on a day-to-day basis, I was responsible for doing here. So I had to roll up my sleeves, and I forgot some stuff. So I had to kind of rely on my network of colleagues and friends to help me as we were getting started. Because starting with a blank slate is different than walking into an established organization, even if you're going to transform that established organization.
It can be a little humbling at times, can't it?
Yes, but that's a good thing.
Yeah,
that's definitely a good
absolutely. So, how do you, from a technology perspective, what's your thinking? Because you're kind of building this from the ground up, but you're already a pretty big company. So, from a strategic standpoint, what are some of the decisions you go about making in terms of selecting it? Because if you were truly a startup, right, you would probably make different choices than if you're already a big company.
I mean, for me, our challenges have been somewhat around marketing technology. I mean, when we came in, we established Salesforce as our CRM platform. The marketing team had no marketing automation, but what was most important is establishing some fundamental processes and also understanding what we were here to achieve before making decisions on technology. We ultimately chose a marketing automation platform through Marketo. I think we have a long way to go, and I think working with the Pedowitz group as we get these lead management processes up and running, we're going to make new and additional decisions around technologies we need to bring into the company. But what I didn't want to do is start kind of bringing in new technologies before we even knew what we were trying to achieve and without getting the foundational stuff right.
Makes a lot of sense. So within your business, how much of your revenue comes from existing customers versus net new?
Right now we have 50 existing customers, and I would say if you look since we've been here for about 2 years now, most of the revenue is coming from new logos.
Okay.
And but we feel that client base of 50 marquee brand clients has been we have not engaged with them at the level that we need to engage with them. So we've actually put into place a new client engagement model, as well as from a marketing standpoint, we're putting in client marketers in each of our regions to do nothing but work with our account executives and our client success teams with the client base.
Love that. So now 2 years in, what's your boss holding you accountable for, and what are you holding your team accountable for?
That's easy. We've done a bang-up job building the Ensono brand from scratch. We have a long way to go. Still, it takes years to build a brand unless you have big advertising dollars, but we've seen success there. Demand generation, demand generation, demand generation. That is what I'm being held accountable for. We've got to get a solid demand generation engine up and running, and that in turn is what I'm holding my team accountable for, and that's what our bonuses are tied to.
So when you say engine, which parts? Just that the engine's up and running? Is it leads? Is it revenue? Pipeline? All of it?
Everything that we do is demand generation, so it's kind of a misused term. I'm talking specifically about the marketing. We impact this business in many ways. We do lots of work around mergers and acquisitions that we do. We do lots of work building our Ensono brand, but we also are responsible for creating a source of leads for Ensono in our sales team, and then impacting leads that we actually don't initiate, but we should be able to help bring those to wins. It's those latter two that we are being held accountable for, and that's where I need all hands on deck and focus.
Okay. So switching gears, as a successful women executive that's been doing this for a long time, what are some of the big changes you've seen as you've progressed throughout your career, and what advice would you give to young men and women starting out that want to be a chief marketing officer someday?
When I started my career in the places that I worked, there were very few women. I do see more women, and I do see more women in senior positions. Is it enough? No, it is not. There are still equality gaps across the business world, and especially in technology. So I think we have a long way to go. And in fact, at Ensono, I'm starting a women's initiative because I think that it's very important. While many women have not experienced deliberate discrimination, there's unconscious bias that exists in the workplace and even outside of the workplace. And my platform has always been around raising awareness of that. So, and for young women, I would just say, I'm a bootstrapper. So I've just always kind of worked very hard and never gave up.
Okay.
Perseverance is one of my good qualities.
Good. That's always great advice. Very important skill to have too. As they say, what it's attitude, right? Over aptitude. That helps a lot.
Well, that does. When I started my career after college, I bought a one-way ticket, People's Express, $25, moved to New York, no job, and and I had 2 cheap suits from Sears, and I made a career for myself. Now I look at that and I'm like, what was I thinking?
Sometimes it is good to be young because you can't do that stuff. So with all the changes going on in market, in marketing and in the market in general, is there a big trend that you think we should be paying attention to?
Just from a marketing standpoint, I mean, we have to get a foundation up and running here. But the thing that makes marketing teams great is data and analytics. It allows us to do more in actually generating business for a client. And I mean, I see that the future, the role of sales will be quite different because the marketing team should be doing things to get a client or prospect to the point where they're ready to talk to somebody. And I think that requires a lot more sophistication than many of us have today, but it's the opportunity area. So I think, we all see that data around when a salesperson gets involved, 65 or 57% of the decision has already been made. I think we even need to kind of take, from a marketing standpoint, take the prospect further along the buyer journey.
And what are some of the best ways to do that?
Well, to me, it's all about building data and analytics skill. It's about understanding your prospects at not just a firmographic, but at a behavioral level, and being able to act quickly.
Okay.
Predict behavior and model behavior.
So great input, great advice. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Lisa, thank you so much for taking your valuable time to be on the program today.
Thank you, Jeff.
You bet.